Wrestling Guy. With your hosts, the Hall of Fame referee, Jay Hawk, the not-so-mysterious benefactor, Jay Gold, and the legendary Charlie Butters.
I need more time behind in front of the camera. I am awful in front of the camera. I've noticed the backstage video that has come out for the next match. I just wander off the screen after Mikey starts getting beat up. I don't know what to do.
Even if you're not going to get involved in it, like you need to be yelling and stop it. What are you doing?
Right, something. I should Pedro, and Pedro's like, yeah, you got to work on that. I was like, we did it twice really quick, and I didn't even want to be in it. They told me I had to be in it. So I think if we would have done it the third time, I probably would have had Zay push me up against the thing and tell me to get out of there. Something. Yeah. So, but that video's out there now. It's still really funny. Shelby is fucking hilarious. He kills me every time.
Can I just do something real quick since it's Thursday? Boo! Happy Halloween! And now back to the programming. Yes, I thought the Zay intro was great. You disappear literally out of nowhere. Well, what's funny is you standing in the parking lot, kind of like shrugging your shoulders. You almost look like Charlie Brown when he's just hanging around. You're just like, and then Mikey comes around a corner, and there you are, champ. Good job, champ. We got to work on spacing. We got to work on timing. But yeah, and you probably should have been beaten up, but still, I like it. I thought that was fun, and Shelby really is. He's the man. I love it. Ooh, spooky Halloween episode.
I got trick-or-treating to go to tonight. So
I have 4 9-year-old girls sleeping over after they go trick-or-treating because the next day is Diwali, so our schools are closed. So everyone's sleeping in my house for a Halloween party.
My kids still had school, but the head teacher and Carl trick-or-treating on Thursday, all the stuff we would do Friday for homework we're not doing.
Yeah, we don't have
having
any.
spelling work and a greeting packet and stuff. It's literally just its math homework. And I'm like, oh, thank God. You could have gotten rid of the math homework too, honestly. I'd have been okay with that. You could have kept the reading, got rid of the math. I'd have been happy with that.
Right. Well, yeah, we don't have any homework Thursday and Friday, so that's good too. But let's get back to the actor in chief on the show and the main event.
The face of IW Guide now, apparently.
Face.
In fairness, you were the only one of us that was able to make the show. I mean, I could have made the show, but with my ankle being what it was, I got not to drive.
We should do a Power Rangers theme image with me and Jayhawk looking up at you as Zordon, your floating melon, the face of IW Guide.
I could see that being a new picture next week for the This Is IW Guide. I could see that.
I like that. But yeah, good. Let's talk about it. Tell me about Neo Pro. Let's go.
All right. So I got there a little bit after 3, pulled in literally right behind Sid. And then Mikey wasn't there much, was there not long after. And kind of talked for a little bit. They were all holding the belt, checking the belt out again. And then we went in and ring was already all set up. Kind of just went over stuff. And
were you going to do ring crew?
No, I mean, I could have if I wanted to, but I didn't. Sid did it. Sid was breaking down at the end of the night.
Breaking down from sadness, right? He was breaking down emotionally.
And he claims he retired, but I'm pretty sure I booked him for several more shows. So,
well,
but no, I was I almost got in the ring. I almost got back in the ring, and I was going to bump around. And I'm like, no, I can't do it. I haven't done it. It's been 12 years. I'm not going to do it.
I wish you could have gotten in the ring and given the belt over to Mikey.
Well, so the thing is there was stuff that was planned to happen after the match, but they were so afraid of going over time because they were we had real specific time limits for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So they were really afraid about that. So we could just save that and we could do it out back and it'll be a backstage skit. I was like, okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they still were given the go home 3 minutes too early. So they wrapped it up pretty quick. They still had like a couple more sequences to do, and I was like, that's not supposed to be the finish. And that's why
now
from
the
now
time
on,
because they had to be out the building at a certain time, or
no, it just that's how it was timed out. And like certain people were like, be all right, just do your thing. Like, but they were worried about they didn't want to upset anybody, so because it was their first time wrestling there. So I get it. I was like, all right, that's fine.
I seem to recall when we had the first title match, they were told like they had like 10 minutes and went like almost 20, but they didn't really care.
Well, I've been told that that's because Derek does what he wants. So that's what I was told. Derek gets away with that. That's what Derek does. Everybody else doesn't necessarily do that. Derek was in the building, ironically, so he could have
he was very sad. He was longingly watching the match in sadness, going, "What happened to my title reign?"
he was chilling in the back, watching Big Sam wrestle. That's what he was out there for. Was watching Big Sam.
Nice.
But Dom was there, bullshitted with him. I got my the Dom Guarini mask. It's now in my possession.
Which one?
His entrance mask.
Oh shit!
I now own that. So I got to put it up. The Danhausen one's going to come down.
I was just going to say, where is it? Yeah,
it is in my garage in a stack of stuff I need to bring down to the basement. I just I'm so busy with stuff. Like I don't come down here unless it's time to record or edit. So like I just haven't brought it down yet. So
well, that's a cool gift. I'm upset I missed that. I would have liked to have gotten an opportunity to $1 Million Man you out of that. Challenge you to a basketball dribbling contest.
Kick the ball with one dribble to go.
That's correct. By the way, I think I'm going to be at that DPW show at Jersey and White Eagle on the 17th. So I'm hoping Dom is going to be there. I assume they will be. So
I believe so. I believe they're going to be there.
Yeah, that show's going to be wild. I'm getting amped up for that.
Explain to me why GCW is not taking their tag team champions to Hawaii. Like,
is that what happened? Did they announce the card? Because I just
they've announced like 5 matches, and it's like,
is Allie going? And they won't take Dom and Koo.
I think Effie's on the card. I want to say Mance is on the card. But like Dom and Koo aren't on the card, at least as far as I've seen. So I'm like, I don't know what the hell. Like, why would you like other people are like Sam Stackhouse and stuff? I'm like, why are we getting these other certain people?
Yeah.
But not your tag team champions who, have been to Japan and like everywhere else, but you're not going to take them to Hawaii.
Yeah. Ridiculous. By the way, I saw the funniest clip the other day online. It was Umaga arguing with the Great Khali, and every time I watched it like 50 times, I was chuckling so hard at it. I can't help it. Maybe one day we'll incorporate that into our show.
You didn't share it. You didn't share it in the Discord.
I know. I'll find it for you guys. It was hilarious. But yeah, that's cool. That's a cool gift to get and to be at Neo Pro. So how many people do you think Neo Pro had? 60, 70?
Yeah, it wasn't a lot. Salem's a rough one.
Well, how many do they average? Have you been to more than one of those shows?
Their Canton shows are like crazy packed. Like they probably do like 200-300 in Canton.
Okay.
This show there was I don't know. There's probably at most 100, but probably less than that.
Okay.
I'd probably say I don't know 80. I don't know, something like that. I know ringside was completely sold out, so that's good.
Once WWE makes them one of their WWE indie feds, everything will be turned all around for them.
I just want everybody to know that our title defeats your WWE ID bullshit, and you will bow to our champion.
That's right.
Everybody, nobody gets to say that doesn't work for me. Everybody gets pinned Gabe. By our champion. So.
That's right, Gabe, you motherfucker.
That's how that's going to work.
Ludwig Kaiser will lose pro contenders goes, Jay Gold. The issue with Salem is definitely a high school football town, and they're running on a Friday night.
Yeah, it was a Friday night show, which they didn't really want to run in the first place, but that's what they had to do. So it was just kind of.
I think if they would have run it on Saturday, it would have drawn better. But that is definitely a high school football.
But
town.
if you look at like they have like a voting thing up, like what people like the most out of the show, our match was the number one. So
nice.
And that hype. Bringing that hype to Neo Pro. So after this footage came out, obviously there's going to be a tag team match at the next Canton show here in November. It'll be Shelby and Mikey against Bax, which is going to be Sydney and Zay. Garcia. So that's going to happen. That's going to kind of wrap up their season finale at Neo Pro, and then the belt will probably travel and go to 880 and possibly be defended there. We have to work out the details, but that's something that might happen soon. What else can I say? We think we have our next challenger for Neo Pro. It's like 90% booked for the Canton, the February Canton show for Neo Pro. It's the first title defense at Neo Pro for Mikey, and it's a pretty big indie name, so I'm pretty excited for it. We're teaming with Gorilla Press.
You booked Mortis to fight Mikey? That's amazing.
Brother,
that would be a little difficult there, Jay.
Mortis is dead, brother.
No, the beast. Mortos.
Mortos, the beast Mortos.
Mortos. You got it.
I did not do that, but I will tell you what, I think that if AIW was smart, that's who they would book Mikey against.
I'm going to see him
the belt on the line.
I'm going to see him at the DPW show.
Shout out to Zach, Andrew, and of course, special shout out to Patty.
Hey, Patty.
What's on this weekend?
All right, I'll go ahead and go first this week here. We've got the International Wrestling Cartel. We're getting winner take all 2024. The main event of the evening. I cannot believe this match is happening in 2024. Derek Dillinger and Wes Barkley, the challenger, taking on the IWP Tag Team Champion Channing Decker and Tommy Dreamer. That are on the line in that main event. We've also got Duke Davick against Elijah Dean in the number one contenders match. We got Cam Holloway against Galen Jones Jr. Katie Arquette defending the IWC Women's Championship against the undefeated Myla Moore. The IWC Hall of Fame inductions will take place and much more.
I don't know if that match is taking place, brother.
I looked up everything IWC had. They are still advertising it. So I'm just
I would
letting you know.
say if you're expecting that match, probably don't expect that match.
Based on what I've heard, I doubt it's going to happen as well. But as of now, it would still be. I think
they announced that she has an announcement or something for that show, didn't they announce that? There's like a graphic with her saying she has an announcement or something. I thought I saw that there was one, but anyway, Jiggle, what you got?
So I have Saturday night, November 2nd at 8 p.m. PWF, Premier Wrestling Federation out of Texas, presents Burnout 2024 live. One of the matches to give you a heads up on, the Pope is wrestling JJ Blake. The Pope, he's still doing it.
The Pope.
That's right, the Pope. Evilise versus Alexandra Quintanilla, which Evilise is still doing it. PWF Premier Championship, Brick Savage versus Mysterious Q, who I have not heard a lot from in a while.
He got injured. He's been out for a while. He's been doing a lot coming back, so I'm excited to see him back in action.
Yep, so that is Saturday at 8 o'clock on IWTV.
And of course, on YouTube tonight, 8 o'clock, 880 Wrestling, Thursday Night Fights. Check it out.
Interviewing.
I can't announce him like Pedro does. Pedro does a really good job of announcing Mikey. But I'm just going to say he is the IW Guide champion. He is Mikey Montgomery.
What's up, guys? Can you hear me all right?
Yes sir. Give you chills, right, Mikey, to just think about all that glory wrapped around you with the IW Guide title.
Oh, I'm thinking about how heavy it is for sure. Right. Absolutely. It's a big piece of hardware that I wasn't expecting. Like when I first felt it, it's because like a lot of independent wrestling championships like aren't that heavy. Like there may be 3 pounds, 5 pounds all put together. But no, this one is large face piece, large side pieces, and I'm expected to engrave it. I'm hearing.
Oh, that's going to be on you. I didn't know that was going to be on you.
If you find a place, like I said, I will send you the cash app you for it.
So, no worries.
I was going to say you didn't read the fine print, Mikey. That's on you, I think.
I'm just going to get a Cricut. I'm just going to get a Cricut printer and put some just a little plastic on it.
That works for me. So the last time we had you on, you were still in a tag team.
Wait, was I really?
Yes, it was both you. It was both you and Eric. Yeah, last time you were on with us.
That was so long ago.
It was.
I feel like I've done an interview since then, but I guess not.
Not with us.
I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong. That's totally possible. I've been wrong a lot lately. So
I don't do a lot of podcasts, so yeah, it makes sense.
Oh, you know what? I think you did. You did Marcy's show for our Patreon.
That's what it was.
When we were doing that, when she was doing her Patreon show, on the video games and stuff.
Heck yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, this is your first singles title, right? Since you've been a singles wrestler.
Yeah, this is my first. This is my first title that I've won all by myself.
And they just released the backstage footage, like not even an hour ago, and I just want to say that I'm sorry I didn't save you from Zay and Sid attacking you, because I just kind of wandered off.
You really did.
Well, let's pretend that I just went to go get Shelby. That's what I did.
We're not pretending shit. You walked away.
Mikey, you turn the corner and you see an aloof Charlie Butters standing there.
Good friend at the bar, Charlie Butters, is there when you need him, for sure.
It didn't fill you with happess to see him just standing looking into the darkness of the parking lot?
I thought he was going to come back with like a big weapon and be like, hey, get out of here.
Nope, it's just a cowboy with a fucking horse on his stick.
A cowboy with a fake horse.
Better get the guy that'll start the bar fight and then run out of the bar.
Right. He was just like, oh shit, I gotta go.
I hit G7, but it was actually G6.
You got on a plane.
So, Mikey, I haven't talked to you in a while. So how's the run going for you as far as the indies and your time at Enjoy and kind of how highly regarded you are now at AIW? How do you feel like the spot of your career? What do you feel about that right now?
Oh, it's I want to say that's a loaded question, but it's very direct. I don't know how I feel about it. It's a lot all at once for sure. Because for a long portion, because I started right before the pandemic, right? I got maybe a year into wrestling, and then the pandemic happened. So it seemed like forever it was going to be a slow crawl for me. But once I got a spot locked in at Enjoy, then it just seems like it rocketed out of nowhere. And I really credit the people at Enjoy for that. Like they put me in spots that I don't necessarily know if I was mentally ready for, but they took a chance on me, and I was willing to give 100% of myself to that company, and I think they took a chance on me, and it gave other people an opportunity to say, let's take a chance on Mikey Montgomery. I really thank Thorne for giving me really cool matches to do at AIW, like wrestling Janela and being in those cool 4-ways against guys who have been doing this for 20 plus years. So that's really been helping me with my ring confidence. But yeah, it's a crazy ride for sure the past year and a half for me. And I'm really anxious and excited to see where it goes from here.
So you mentioned those matches that Thorne put you in. Which one do you think in the last, 5 or 6 shows, which one has been your favorite? Because you've been in there with some huge names.
I definitely have to say Janela. Janela is like a guy who's willing to do a lot for people who he doesn't necessarily know very well. He's a very giving person, and I thank Joey a lot for that. He was willing to let me get my stuff in. Like and that's Joey Janela at Absolution. Like that's Mr. Absolution if you think about it. So that was really cool for me. It was also really cool for me to wrestle Slim J. I know we didn't have like a really long match, but I think the match that we had was very technically sound, and me and him were both very happy with it after we were done. So that was a big accomplishment for me, because Slim J goes back, so long with, like old school ROH, even new school ROH. So it's like, it's very exciting, the position that I found myself in.
Yeah, I think people are starting to notice, especially in the areas that you're in, but you've endeared yourself to like the Pittsburgh crowd. I mean, you're from Pittsburgh, right? That's you live there. That's like your spot,
yeah,
right?
That's my home base now.
Yeah. So I mean, like you are like a top face over there. People love you. Is there a like an extra weight on you of like to kind of deliver when you're there? Cause it's it's that's your base of operations. Do you feel like you need to do more, or I'm trying to find a different way to kind of phrase it, but is there pressure on you when you go to Enjoy as opposed to like AIW?
That's a good way to point it. Yeah, there is. I would say that there's pressure for both places, but Enjoy is a different beast than AIW, because AIW, like, you're really focused in on I don't know, there's more of a crowd aspect to AIW, whereas Enjoy is very in-ring based, where you're trying to get your reaction based off of the quality of your match. And also, like, AIW has always been kind of like this punky, hardcore kind of place, where it's like you can sort of go to like a deep, dark place in your mind where, like, you can imagine wrestling in a different way. Whereas Enjoy, I feel like, is very... It's almost kind of like a throwback to what wrestling was like in the 90s and 80s, where it's like you'll get a traditional storyline, like that is a through point throughout like their storytelling. Like, you'll see a storyline weave its way throughout multiple episodes of a season.
Yeah, I feel like they love to do that. They like to give you that whole season, and the production value adds so much to it.
Sure. So there is a pressure of like, I need this to go well so that we can get to the next thing. So that's the pressure I feel at Enjoy. Whereas AIW, I feel pressure to entertain the live crowd as much as possible. Because there's not necessarily a lot of storyline that I'm involved in AIW, but there still is that excitement that I get to just go out there and entertain a live crowd.
Well, you say that, right? So is there a piece of you that misses that tagging with Eric, or because you guys that'll never separate? I mean, they even had you guys, at J-Lit and everything else. Do you miss doing the tag team, or do you like the single stuff better?
It's so funny because I view them as two different Mikey Montgomerys, because it's just a whole different mindset being in a heel tag team versus a babyface singles guy, right? Where like, I feel like a lot of my work now, like, I don't know if I would know how to work as a heel tag team member in this day and age. Like, I could do it, but I don't know that there's a flow state that you get into as a professional wrestler when you're evolving. Like, when you're doing a lot of the same stuff, you evolve it over months and months and years. And then when you, like, it's kind of like I pivoted to something completely different. So now, like, it'd be like if I tried to do like portraits after being an abstract artist for 30 years. It just seems like maybe I don't know. It's tough because I loved teaming with Eric. But I don't know if there's like maybe in a different world, like, I'd be in a tag team again, but I don't think me as of right now. I think what I'm doing is what I need to be doing. Good.
I dig that. Jayhawk?
All right. So, obviously, first single title, the IW Guy title. We are doing our best to try to make sure that it is a title that any independent wrestler would like to challenge for. With that in mind, are there some guys that you would like to defend that belt against, assuming that they're available?
Yeah. I could name a couple of guys. Alec Price. I think that'd be a great match. Because me and Alec have never had a singles match. Me and Alec have only ever wrestled in scrambles and four ways. So I think it'd be really interesting to see what me and him could do, just us two. I'd really love to wrestle Lee again. Eric would be a great match for this title.
That would be fun.
Yeah. I think me and Eric are just bound to wrestle each other for the rest of the time.
I think any tag team that splits like that, there's always going to be that, ebb and flow, like you said. Like, it'll be for a while, you guys won't be around each other, and then it'll just heat up again out of nowhere, and you guys will go at each other in a bunch of different places. It reminds me kind of like what they did with Steen and Generico.
Right.
It's always one of those things that's going to keep coming back around, and then maybe, someday it'll get bad enough, you guys have to team again, and then you guys will split up again and fight again, and it'll just keep flowing like that. I think.
Well, like, even going back to kind of what Jay Gold said, it's like, would I team with Eric again? Like, yes, maybe in like a weird DX reunion style, like, this is what we did before, yeah. Yay! And then immediately like can it. But like, Yeah. It's definitely an interesting landscape to be in.
I still love the fact that Eric came out with the Bitcoin Boy jersey at J-Lit. He had it with him just in the off chance he wrestled you in the final.
Oh, I'm sure he just like had it in a drawer somewhere.
What? Go ahead, Jayhawk. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I actually don't have much. That was my main question. So, Butter, I'll go ahead and dish it off to you.
So I know that you started training with the 880 students and stuff like that. I did see a video of you doing drills with them. So how did that kind of come about? Because like when you wrestled at 880 for us back earlier this year, you weren't there like all the time. You were just starting to kind of come around there and do stuff. So like in 6 months now, you're teaching classes.
Yeah, I help out with training a little bit. It was, you're never finished training as a professional wrestler. Mm-hmm. So it was very important to me to find a ring to have ring time in and practice stuff. And, kids would come up to me and be like, "Hey, what are you practicing? Can I learn that?" And, I would come up to trainings. It would usually be random days at the start. But then I just thought it would be better because MV right now is the only one running class, I believe. So it just takes a little bit of the weight off of his backpack, you know, just to come in, like once a week and help out with training. And it's not like I'm not the head trainer or anything. I'm just there helping, teach basics and stuff like that. There's a couple new kids that come around. So it's just lots of bumps, lots of rolls, lots of cardio. Nobody gets away with not doing cardio at Mikey Montgomery class, except Mikey Montgomery. But yeah, it's Tuesdays with Mikey Montgomery has become the 880 slogan.
Yeah, I would like to see those kids, some of those kids who have been around the 880 area get better. I feel sometimes they get kind of stuck, and I had harsh criticism for one of 880 shows. I forgot which one we did, but I think I'd like to see them kind of get to the next level, even competition wise. Even if more of them get in the ring with you, or Gannon or whoever is showing up at 880, it would do them some good to wrestle some fresh faces as opposed to themselves over and over again.
Absolutely. And when you wrestle the same people over and over again, you fall into a slot, right? And you find it difficult to get out of that slot of like, well, we'll do this here and this there, and then we'll do that 80 million times because that works. Mm-hmm. It's not challenging to your creativity to wrestle the same people over and over again. And that's why like it's nice to have a place like 880 Wrestling because there's people from all over the United States who come over there on Thursday to wrestle. So quick shout out Thursday Night Fights.
On tonight as we record, as we when we're live.
As we're live.
Out, yeah.
I'm sorry, where was I at? I completely lost my train of thought.
Oh, just talking about the students in wrestling.
Oh yeah, but the couple of the kids that I have wrestled in the last couple of weeks, I have had a hand in like teaching some stuff, like Aleo, Sammy, Den of Desire. Those are all guys.
I love the Den of Desire. They're some of my favorite human beings.
Oh yeah, I think they all have excellent potential to be great wrestlers. They just need a little push in the right direction.
I remember when we were down there for that match, I was talking with a lot of them and just kind of like asking them like, hey, like who do you want to like wrestle for the belt? Like, who would you like to get in the ring with? Like if we had a champion, whatever. And so many people, even the AIW kids I want to wrestle Mikey. That's one of my main goals is to wrestle Mikey.
See, they want to wrestle Mikey because it's easy.
I think it's
because it would be a really good match. You're known for having good matches. That's why I thought it was.
That's right. I agree with that.
I think they're good because they're easy to understand. Because like I feel like I've tamed a lot of my stuff down from when I first started. Because like when I first started, I tried to use a Phoenix Splash as my finish, and then I realized quickly afterwards, after a 15-minute match, you can't hit a Phoenix Splash 10 out of 10 times. So I mean, like, a lot of my stuff has been toned down from when I started wrestling. So I think the reason why my matches have been so well received is because, like, they're easy to comprehend. I don't do more than I need to.
I don't know, Mikey. When I first saw you and Eric, the thing that I thought of with you was you were more of the innovator and more of the risk taker, and Eric was more of a ground based. As much as he's smaller like you, he wasn't as high flying. And I always thought that you kind of innovated. I saw you do some stuff that I didn't see a lot of.
And I look back at matches that I had 3-4 years ago, and I go, where did that go?
Oh, okay.
Like sometimes, like, Chuck Stone, this was a couple of years ago. I mean, like, because, like, I debuted with Eric, Chuck Stone, and Arthur MacArthur.
Yeah.
And before we had that 4-way match at the Beer Bash show,
The Golden Horn Brewery. I was there ringside for it. It was so hot there.
It was so hot. But we had tons and tons of practice matches before that he had recorded, or that Chuck had recorded. And I remember one day we were at his house, and he had just put on the Google Drive of, like, some of the practice matches that we had. And there's some, like, innovative stuff that we have tried literally one time. Like, and it's, like, just an inch away from being good stuff. Like, now that I'm talking about it, I really need to get that Google Drive from him.
Yeah, the update some of Mikey's moveset with some crazy stuff. That'd be.
I mean, I looked at you very Brian Kendricky when I first saw you and Eric Taylor, but I think it's gotten to a different place, because they do. Every company so far has done a very good job of giving you that enjoy, especially the underdog. But AIW gives you a lot of leeway where you might be smaller, but your moves are sudden and they're impactful. But I think you've gotten away from more of that. Like, I think in the beginning I was more like, oh my God, he's going to do that move and he's going to kill himself. And I don't think
that's exactly what I was thinking of too. Like, I would do a lot of stuff where it's like, if I don't trust somebody enough, or like if somebody's an inch off, like I could hurt myself.
Yeah.
Like, but I feel like a lot of the stuff that I do now is consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just think that's where I've kind of evolved to being a more consistent wrestler, and that's why I think I excel so much.
Yeah, go back to Compton Dusty Road UTK. Don't do shit you don't know how to do.
Fucking do.
I wish more guys did that, understood that.
That was after, what was it? Arn Anderson tried to do a drop kick.
Big Bubba Roger tried to do something that he never done before, but he thought it'd be a good idea, and he almost killed the dude on
it. The way Cornette tells it is, I think it was Eaton, maybe it was Bobby Eaton, or maybe it was Big Bubba Rogers tried to do a drop kick and got him right in the dick, and and Dusty just laid into him in the back.
It was definitely Big Bubba Roger, but I cannot remember what the move was now.
Oh, I like that. I don't think I've ever heard that story. That's great.
Oh, it's fantastic. Great.
So Mikey, what are you watching right now as far as wrestling when you have free time? What do you do? What are you watching to kind of get your mind
So me and Toddy Tondera have a standing appointment every Monday to watch Raw at either me and Ziggy's house or at his house. So I've been watching Raw every week.
I think it's gotten good, right? I enjoy it. They make fun of me every week. It was
good until they moved to 2 hours. Now I feel like they don't know how to fill up their time with stuff that's important. Because it feels like a lot of segments are kind of like, I noticed this last week. I feel like a lot of segments are kind of like, they end in kind of non-endings. Where it's like they just kind of like, people scuffle away and then like that's the end of it, right? There's never a definitive like person who walks out on top. Like I felt that way with the Miz turning on the Truth thing, where it's just like people kind of standing around, kind of waiting for their cue to leave the ring.
Oh, okay.
Instead of like somebody laying a definitive beat down, walking out of the ring with their hands raised, yada yada yada.
I think they suffer from that same ending though. We've seen that Judgment Day ending way too often, but that's just the one where either Priest beats up everyone or
I mean, who didn't see that coming?
Yeah. But I'm surprised that's your Raw. No, it's going to get different. It'll be different again when it gets to Netflix.
Sure.
But
I was watching SmackDown for a little bit, and then the Bloodline stuff started confusing me, so I didn't watch it.
So no indie stuff, no Japan stuff right now.
I haven't been watching New Japan recently. I don't have World. I haven't been watching AEW.
Interesting.
To be honest with you, like Mondays and Fridays are my only wrestling days unless there's a PLE on. Like I'll watch and I love when the PLEs are in different countries. My God, do I love when it's a 1 p.m. Saturday show,
this
2
Saturday,
p.m.,
right?
3 p.m. Saturday show. Oh my God. I mean, like they're in Saudi Arabia, so but
But it's on. It's on at 1 o'clock.
But it's on, yeah. No, like when they go to France or like I'm praying to God they go to somewhere like South Africa or something and they have a PLE at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. And then my whole day is ahead of me.
I'm not gonna lie. They did that one show from Tokyo that started at like 5 a.m. and I fucking woke up to watch it because that way I was awake and could do shit.
Dude, that was Owens Finn Balor in Japan. That was fucking awesome. The way that was just a great day.
I was in high school. This is a quick non sequitur. But I was in high school when Kenny and Okada wrestled for the first time. And I skipped. I can't remember if it was a weekday or a weekend, but I definitely skipped school one of the days so that I could watch it. So that I could watch that
definitely
real time.
What was that? Wrestle Kingdom?
Wrestle Kingdom 11.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, that when Melker officially broke the dark scale and nobody took it seriously anymore.
But Steve Austin even said that was one of the greatest matches that he's ever seen.
Now. I like that stuff, but Mikey, are you a guy like that kind of match, or are you a guy like you want to see a little more sloppy and
no? I like a fighting spirit.
Okay.
I like a big ending. I like I like 30 falsies. I love.
I was going to ask you about that. So that was the next question. Do you like matches where like Okada's going to hit the Rainmaker like 4 separate occasions, or a guy's going to get out of it, and then you got to wonder when the end is?
Yeah. Because in my opinion, right, like Okada hitting, this is just my mentality for like Japanese wrestling, right? Like Okada hitting that Rainmaker is like Curry hitting a 3. Now it's like he's gonna hit that like 6 or 7 more times and stuff him down your throat, and that's how he's gonna win.
Oh, I like that. That's it. Yeah, you know what? That changes everything. Now that you put it that way.
So it's like. If you're watching like a really back and forth baseball game, right? Like if it's the 13th inning and you go up by 2 points and then they answer back with another 2 points. Now you're in a whole nother inning, right? So now it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until one person finally just gives in and it's like, I'm done. Hit me with your finish.
That works for the Rainmaker, but does it work? It doesn't work for Destroyers. Fans have just had enough of that. That's just a segue
but like
move.
It's the same like signature mindset of like Kenny, where it's like he's gonna hit you with 16 V triggers, and you're gonna have brain damage by the time that he hits you with this one-winged angel, and that's how you die.
I saw somebody do a double underhook Destroyer, and
I saw that. Yeah,
I think that's the new.
But it wasn't a pinfall, was it? It was not a pinfall.
I think we need to make it a pinfall. I think that's the new hotness right there.
I think we're getting into like realms of where it's not like I think the Destroyer is so overdone that nobody's doing them anymore.
I think WWE just started allowing their guys to do it because I've seen a whole bunch of them from Andrade
I think when WWE allows people to like do moves, that's when indie guys go, okay, it's not cool to do it anymore.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Right. Like as soon as they started doing like Spanish flies, like nobody did the Spanish fly anymore. Like Cody started doing big cutters, so it's like nobody does big cutters anymore.
It's weird because it's that way with move, but not that way with gear. Like as soon as Moxley started wearing fucking white beaters in the ring, like every independent guy's like, oh, I can wear a white beater in the ring now.
Oh no! Like as soon as Cody got back in the Fed with the red, white, and blue gear, I'm like, let's go, red, white, and blue.
It's funny you mentioned that Spanish Fly. I don't know if you've ever seen this, and I give you credit for it because I watched these two gymnasts say that they could do a Spanish Fly together. It was like them watching wrestling, and they were watching two guys do a Spanish Fly. For the life of them, they could not figure out how to do a Spanish Fly. And then when I watch you guys do it, and I watch the coordination, I am consistently impressed with that move because I watched that video of these gymnasts and they could not figure out how to do it.
Yeah, it took them like 15 or 20 tries to finally get it down because they didn't understand that. Like,
was it like a hooking issue?
It was
one didn't understand that one needed to do a flip and the other one was just doing a back flip. Basically, the one person couldn't figure out what they were just doing a front flip basically to it, and it really confused them that's how they were supposed to land. It was really interesting to see like them try to pull off some of the stuff that people pull off on the indies and even on like the big time, and it's like they make it look effortless. Yes, and like easy, and then watching like gymnasts that like can do some crazy stuff have like the hardest time doing it. It's like, okay, yeah, that's definitely impossible for a normal person.
I mean, I'll give them credit because like a lot of gymnastics techniques don't involve other people,
right?
Or like you swinging around other people. So I can get how it can be confusing because to somebody who's like not aware of pro wrestling, like the hooks and stuff like that don't come natural to them. Like if you just showed somebody pro wrestling for the first time and then you ask them to like body slam somebody, I'm sure it would look a lot different than how it does on TV. Just because like people aren't aware of like, like you got to throw the arm over so that you can hook it here. And then the guy on the bottom's got to put the hand on the leg so that you don't slide down. And
yeah, when you brought up the Spanish Fly, I was like, oh, that reminds me of that video. And I was just like, fucking people who think that they're just don't give enough credit to you guys and the athleticism, that goes into it. Since it's Halloween, Mikey, I'm going to ask you, because today is Halloween according to the show, what are you wearing out trick-or-treating? What are you doing? Are you going out?
So we will be handing out candy at the house. Last year we were monkeys and one of our dogs was a banana. We were leaning towards Bluey, but we don't know if we want to do like the onesie costume or like the ones that are like inflatable. Because like we're gonna have to like sit down outside, and we don't know if like the inflatable ones are gonna like look weird if we try and sit.
Right.
Yeah.
We haven't. There's a couple other ones.
Gets multiple uses though.
Oh yeah, no, I still use my monkey onesie.
So I totally think that'd probably be the better move because then you could wear it all the time instead of just once.
Oh yeah. No, I have a couple different onesies. I think I have like a sloth onesie in the basement, monkey onesie.
It would be great if you wore your gear out, then nobody would really quit.
You want to know what's so funny? It was a couple of years ago we were doing a ring crew for Colossal Con. Yeah. And like everybody's dressed up in costumes. And I look at Riley Rose and I'm like, wouldn't it be like, would we look out of place if we just like put on our gear and like walked around? Like, and he was like, yeah, for some reason I feel like we would.
No way. You could wear it, dude. I wish I said to my wife, she was like, what would you ever do I said, I would go all in. I'd get the Rock's trunks and I'd wear my patent leather boots. And I'd go fucking all in, shave the whole body and do that for an adult costume party. And I've never invited to one. So that opportunity never comes up.
Oh, I
just think I'd look like James Ellsworth out there if I did it.
We've watched Tyler Klein and Calvin Couture get dressed for like 7 different Halloween parties this year. There's one photo of Calvin that's actually really funny. It might be on Instagram, but it's like it's Calvin and Tyler, and they're dressed as Hercules and Hades.
Yes.
But Calvin, there's this spot on his upper lip that's just completely barren, like with no color on it. So it just looks like he's been licking his upper lip and then reapplied the lipstick.
Oh shit!
That's so funny.
Yeah, this town is we don't there's like one hoity-toity Halloween party where everybody goes, but I can't afford that, so I just stay out of it. But there
Is
aren't
that like
any
when
adult-
you have to? Is that like when you have to buy tickets to?
Yeah, and you have to wear a real costume. You can't
Oh,
like put one
God.
together from home, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't just show up in my Sandman ECW and my skids and pretend I'm Sandman. Like it just doesn't work.
Did you see what Eric put on his Instagram story of him and his girlfriend going to a Halloween party?
No, I don't think I saw it yet.
He was the yeah, I saw it. Go ahead and tell him.
Eric dressed as the little girl with braces from Finding Nemo, and his girlfriend was in a fish costume and a giant plastic bag to be the one that she shakes.
Yes.
Yeah, but like like the meme where it's like, I don't know if I'm feeling the Halloween party, and then like he puts on the costume. He's like, I feel like I'm widowy, feeling like I'm liking the Halloween party.
I wish there was more of that here. I wish there was more kind of like get invited to Halloween parties here, but
I know
none for me.
all my
Yeah.
boys are back in Cleveland. I never get invited to parties anymore.
Oh,
Not that I would
sucks.
go. Just want to be invited.
Yeah, it'd be nice to feel what like you people want you there. Sure.
Yeah, like I don't want to go, but I want to go, I won't be there, but I want to go.
Yeah, I think we all should have worn costumes tonight as we are on this. But
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Butters, how did you not think of that?
yeah,
Because we don't use the video, so I mean, it would have just been for
it
us.
would have been just
but-
for us.
Patreon
It would have been very
exclusive.
strange. Yeah. We could have recorded it, on as a Patreon exclusive or YouTube exclusive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I kept saying like I'd dress up and go to the AIW show, and every time when it does come around, I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So
They're not doing a Halloween show this year, right?
I know, no.
So we should make Hell on Earth dress up. We can all dress up.
Yeah,
Yeah, a month later.
Thanksgiving.
I had a great AIW Halloween character idea. Do you guys want to hear it?
Yes.
So it's a guy in a bear costume, and his name is Bare Minimum, and he only does punch kick offense.
Battle Royal offense.
Roar! Duck the line. Here's a boot.
See, I don't know why they don't let you guys come up with their own stuff in there. I think it'd be fantastic. That would be great. If you did that at like a Winchester show, that would have been amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Holy shit.
I do like that the referee for your match for the belt was wearing makeup, and you guys weren't in costume. You guys were just actually wrestling, and she has makeup on, and
it was so funny because she showed up a couple minutes late, like a couple minutes after Bell, and she had pulled up like already in the makeup, and I was like, oh.
I was like, this is going to be hard to explain to everybody when it goes out there, but I'm like, you know what, whatever. It's Halloween. It's fun.
Sure.
And the crowd, like, for not having ever seen you before, the crowd instantly got into you, calling you Mike, not even Mikey. It was Mike. They were chanting, but then they figured it out that it was Mikey. And, some of us in the know got them to start chanting Mikey.
Yeah. I think we know who started that Mike chant.
I can't believe. Wait a minute. I didn't know that you were never at Neo Pro. I didn't know that you didn't do that place. I thought you guys kind of worked that circuit over there.
Nope. No, I had never been over there before.
Interesting.
They're only about.
I had been to. I had wrestled in Salem a couple of times though for like QCW and other promotions over there. So I mean, I wasn't unfamiliar with wrestling in the area, but I had never wrestled because it's a fairly newer company, right? Like they've
only been around like a year.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Oh, I had no idea about that either. All right.
Yeah, they're still in their infancy, man. Like there's like for all the shit I gave them way back when, that was like their like third or fourth show. Like when I was like, I don't like the lighting, I don't like this, and he actually brought it up the other day. Is like, at this show, he's like, we haven't used that lighting since, by the way. And I'm like, well, I mean, it's good. I was like, I sat far
The
away.
internet
It hurt my
remembers, Charlie.
eyes. What's that?
The internet remembers, Charlie.
It does. He remembers. He remembered all the mean things I said. They set me up.
I can't believe he didn't write them down all on paper and say them to you verbatim.
I have all those written down, Mikey. Don't worry. One day I'm going to tell it to Charlie when I see him.
Oh, that'll be in the book.
Right. We got to get you up here to ETU. There's so much going on ET. We get the Ohio boys over here often, and
that's what I hear.
Yeah. Yeah,
I gotta get up there.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'd like to see you in some of this stuff up here. Not necessarily Pro Wrestling Magic or some of those other small.
He's got to go to Shadow Wrestling Alliance, brother. We got to get him at the Shadow Wrestling.
Oh boy,
yeah.
You can wrestle Ninja Mac and go home without money. It happens. I heard it happens.
See, here's the thing. He would go home with money because we pay our wrestlers.
But I'm saying Shadow Wrestling does not if he came up to Shadow Wrestling, from my understanding.
But we would have a deal with them. They'd have to give us the footage, and we would pay whoever he worked. We would take care of that.
Yeah, you'd be able. Last time, Mikey, I told this story. It was me and my daughter and 3 other people watching Shadow Wrestling at the Mecca. It was the day of a Taylor Swift concert at MetLife Stadium, and so we were driving out there. We're like, screw Taylor Swift. We're going to wrestling. We get to wrestling. It's just the 5 of us.
I mean,
you know what? They had Ninja Mac.
I mean, you have to think about the overlap of Swifties and wrestling fans.
Yeah, I honestly, I didn't think there would be.
You didn't think there would be?
No, not for Shadow Wrestling Alliance. I thought it would be the same old mutants that kind of come to the Mecca all the time. Live under the building, that kind of thing.
I've wrestled for Pro Wrestling Magic though.
But they have a small crowd. Half the time they don't even advertise that they're running shows. So I don't know how they get people to the Mecca when I never see anything. I don't know.
Mikey and I had a discussion at the Neo Pro show about like merchandise and like all the like different companies we work with, and like, getting them out to the East Coast to wrestle some places. So there's lots of possibilities there. Oh
yeah, we're talking.
Yeah. So you do have a tag match at Neo Pro next. So ironically that you, not really a tag wrestler anymore, but you're going to tag with a goofy cowboy, so that should be interesting.
A goofy cowboy, eh? Tried to steal my title, and now he's going to be on my team? What are you expecting of me?
In fairness, it was not your title at the time.
Are you sure that they discussed this with you? I just want to make sure we're not, there's not some underhandedness going on, Mikey, where the booker is putting you in matches you shouldn't be in,
Oh, I mean, that happens everywhere I go.
Right.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming you want to face Sid and Zay, and you want to get some revenge on them for what they did to you. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Zay Garcia is a little pussy, and Sid Von England is a backstabbing little Englishman.
Rick?
Yeah, the both of them. Nobody likes those guys. The both.
No. He tried to get away and say that he was retired, and I said, "You're not allowed to be retired.
That's
we have
crazy.
a handshake deal, so you have to keep coming back."
He was retired and then you said you're gonna wrestle Mikey Montgomery, and then he said, "I'm not retired anymore."
Pretty much.
He's like,
so
I gotta make those
like
giant
Sid
trunks.
can thank me for keeping him around. Not letting him retire.
He's got to put on the polo shirt onesie and the giant trunks.
He said he's going to get in shape, so he's not going to wear that anymore. He's going to like get in actual shape. So because his new gear is actually really great, but it makes him have to actually get in shape so he can go without a shirt.
Who does your gear, Mikey? Who do you get to do that right now?
It's going to be Sid.
Oh, Sid does all your stuff.
No, well, so the gear that I have currently, I don't know if you know this, Jay Gold. But getting wrestling gear is a little tough.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not looking to spend upwards of $600-700 for a pair of knee pad covers and biker shorts.
Right.
So there was a couple that made my previous set of gear, that was the red, white, and blue and black gear. It's starting to fall apart now, which is a little sad, but that gear fits so well, and I'm really scared to take. Well, I've taken measurements for myself, and every time they've gone horribly wrong. It's usually somewhere in the legs, that I get messed up. But when I got the gear that I do have now, they did the measurements themselves. So I'm trying to find somebody local now so that I can go there, get the measurements done, and like kind of be there step by step in the process. Not like overseeing me, like, did you do this right? Did you do this right? But like just kind of being like, because that's the one thing is like waiting for shipping and stuff like that. And it's like every person that I've talked to that I'm like, hey, can you replicate this gear? They're like, yeah, just send it through the mail and it'll be back in however long. And it's like, well, I wrestle pretty much every week. I can't send somebody my gear.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I'm in a tough spot with gear. So any local Pittsburgh or Cleveland wrestling gear makers, if you hear this, let me know.
Who else besides Sid do you know as far as talent makes their own gear? Is a lot of guys, or do a lot of guys have to go get somebody to do it?
Nowadays, it's just a couple of guys.
Okay.
I mean there are. I feel like when indie guys start making their own gear, it's immediately an advertisement that they make gear, and now they make gear for everybody around them. And that's kind of the problem that you run into with indie gear makers is like they'll be available for a couple of months for good prices. And then when they realize that they can get a lot more and work a lot less, that's what they tend to do. So prices go up and their schedules go down.
Oh, that dude Ophidian did gear too, right, Jayhawk?
I believe so.
Yeah.
He did, right, Mikey? He did gear, and Koo does his own gear. Kevin Koo.
Koo does his own gear. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, but like I said, I mean,
he does Dom's gear too. Yeah.
It's like I said though, it's few and far between when you find guys that make gear. I'm actually in the process. I mean, people on the thing can't see, but like I have a Singer sewing machine over there.
Nice.
I tried making a little pattern. It went all right. I just have to get some fabric and like some other stuff to get it all set.
Yeah.
So I'm in the process kind of learning how to make gear. It's a long process for me because I don't necessarily have a lot of, I mean, I do have free time, but it's all used up by other activities that I do. Like watching Raw and SmackDown, playing sim racing games, and having still a full-time job. So
yeah, wow. Well, so tell me before we kind of get wrapping closer to the end here, what's the goal now? I mean, 2024 is pretty much over. Where are you looking next year? Like, where do you want to make your next like kind of trek out? What's the next push, and what's the next kind of goal for you?
I mean, definitely the East Coast more. I have never worked on the West Coast before, so I'd really love to work out there. It's a hell of a drive, so I would need a flight. So it's definitely like I need to be a couple of steps up there to be able to kind of push myself in that regard. But that's the ultimate goal for me for the next year or so is to work somewhere reputable out on the West Coast and honestly just grow what I've done in Pittsburgh to more places.
Good. Butters.
So I was going to ask you about this. Some people that may be friends with you on Facebook may know your whole shoot name. Were your parents country music fans? Is this where this came from, or is this just a happy coincidence like the Michael Bolton thing in Office Space?
Is your real name Garth Brooks?
What? We're not going to give away his shoot name on the air.
No, I'm not going
kidding.
to. But
no, they're not country music fans. So yeah, it was a complete coincidence. I mean, there was a story to be had, like because my whole family is from West Virginia, and then they moved to Ohio. So like all my in-laws still West Virginia, all my cousins West Virginia. So they're all country music fans, and they know this guy pretty well. My dad, however, born raised Cleveland, Ohio. Gay man, doesn't know anything about country music. So Yeah, it was quite a coincidence, and my uncle and my aunt were like the first ones to know my name after I was born, and they were like, "Are you kidding?"
Oh, my wife and I had the same thing when my son was born, but his name's Logan James. Everybody's like, "Oh, you named him after Wolverine?" No, literally, like we just came up with James because it sounded good with Logan. Like that was it.
You should have just said yes because Logan's a cool
My
name.
friends literally named their kid Logan James because of Wolverine. So that's pretty funny,
Yeah.
actually.
That's so fun. You want to know what's even funnier? James is his actual first name.
Right. James Howlett. Yeah.
Yeah. And then because like he loses his memory, right? And then it was like I can't remember the exact story, but he loses his memory, and like that's the name that he remembers. So it's Logan.
Right.
There's nothing cooler than Wolverine. So Wolverine backstory, Wolverine anything. You say, hey, it's after Wolverine. That's the best.
Oh, I love Wolverine. Dude.
Yeah. Can't go better than that.
So last thing I want to talk about before we wrap this up, because it's getting late. You do like a video D&D campaign on indiewrestling.us.
Yes, I
It's like
do.
a bunch of wrestlers that do D&D. How did that come about? Like, what's that all about? Because like I've tried to watch a couple episodes and I usually get busy doing something else, but like it's very fascinating to me because like I know there's like the Critical Role does it with like comedians and stuff, but like
Sure. So, I mean, this was something that they did before I got brought into it. But yeah, it was essentially just something that they did for fun, and they thought, like maybe it would be a good idea to stream it and possibly get some audience members to pay attention to like our pro wrestling schedules and stuff like that, and also to do commercials for other stuff that's on Indie Wrestling Network, like the different live events that they put on. But really, it's just a good bit of fun. And I was at a wedding. I was actually at Chris LaRusso's wedding with Ziggy, and we were sitting at a table with Tyler Klein, and he was telling me about how they play D&D every, like every couple of months or so. And I was saying how I'd be interested. And then I got there for the first day, and that's when I realized that they stream it. I got there and sat down at the table, and then they were like, "All right, so here's a microphone, and then there's your camera," and I was like, "Oh, we're doing this." But yeah, it was just a good bit of fun that I had watched Critical Role like a little bit. Like I had never been fully immersed in like a D&D campaign before, so I thought it'd be interesting to like do something different. And also, I like hobbies and stuff like that.
mm-hmm. What's your character name?
So we just like last month wrapped up our campaign. My character is a bit of mishmash. He was a bard character. His name was Primus. But his like backstory was like his dad is a basically a changeling. So like he can turn into any like human form or human-esque form. And he chose to be like an Elvis impersonator, and like that's where he made his money. And like my character's backstory is that he's just like his like sheltered kid who lived in a basement like eating nothing but like junk food and like no sunlight. And then for some reason there's like some sort of kerfuffle in the village, and like it gets turned over by raiders, and my dad gets killed, and then like I'm off to fight on my own, like fight through the woods until I find my D&D party, which is Tyler Klein, Justin Idol, Tatiana, Tony Kincaid, and then the DM was Keith Hott, but we're gonna switch it around next campaign, starting in I want to say like a couple of weeks. Yeah, in a couple of weeks, we're going to start a new campaign where Tony Kincaid is going to be the DM, so that Keith can be a part of it.
Do you use like a table, like with like a whole setup, or is it just paper?
So your character sheet is basically on a website. So like there's D&D Beyond, which basically handles like you create a character on there, and like when you create the character, you roll like a bunch of dice to decide what your stats are and stuff like that. And basically D&D Beyond keeps track of like all of your spells that you've used, your attacks that you've used, how much health you have, how much damage you've taken. It takes care of all of that. The game world is essentially just like a big old poster board with like 1 by 1 squares that represent 5 feet apart.
Okay.
Where it'll essentially just be like it could be like let's say you're in a dungeon and this is this room, right? So
Okay.
you're in like a 20 by 20 of 1 by 1 squares, and those represent 5 feet, like you're in a room. Or
You have to roll to get out of those.
no, you would roll like you're in an encounter, right?
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
let's say that you and your buddies are going through like a dungeon or something, like trying to find somebody, and you come up on like 3 people. You can decide like, what do you want to do? Like, okay, I walk up to them. Okay, they see you. Are they friendly? Roll for perception. So let's say that your character's perception is like a 18, which is pretty high, like out of 20. So your die you would have probably like a +8 or 10 to whatever you rolled. So like you would take a 20-sided die and you would roll it. And then let's say you got like a 14. So you add your modifier. So 14 plus 10 is 24 out of 20. So you've succeeded at this greatly. You can tell that he is not friendly. You go up to him. He is very skeptical of you. What do you do now? So you go and you make a decision about what you want to do. So you could be like, I go up to him and I say, don't worry, I'm not here to hurt anybody. I'm just trying to find my way out of here. And then they ask you to roll like deception or
That's a lot, man. I don't know how you guys
wisdom
keep
and stuff
track.
like
That's done by the dungeon master?
it's all kept track by our little sheets.
Oh, by the sheets. Okay.
By the sheets, because it has all of your stats, all of your pluses, and the DM keeps track of all of the non-player characters, right? So like he keeps track of all those 3 guys' stats, their health and everything like that, so that you just get to have a fun time and role play.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
So Orange Flaccidity did that with us during the beginning of COVID. It was me, it was Orange, and our other buddy, and then Jayhawk, you went to baseball games with them like a bunch of times. Reese, yes, Reese, and we had a blast. We did Call of Cthulhu though, and that was a blast. Playing that and like role playing that, and, like some of the stuff we came up with, you could tell Orange had no idea we were gonna like come out of left field with the craziness that we did. So it was really funny.
That's great.
Like, the world of D&D, like Dungeons and Dragons, like that archetype of a game can fit into so many other situations. Like there's tons of different like real, like not real world, but like role play, like cops and robbers, stuff like that. Like there's tons of different like subgenres of D&D, which is really cool. Like my character, like I got so fed up with how my character was playing during my D&D campaign that I just went out and bought a gun. I literally just went to a shop and bought a gun and just used that as my prime. I just started shooting everything. Like D&D is so ridiculous. Like with how you can solve problems too. Like there's a Critical Role video where like essentially like there's 2 casters, right? And they're trying to like cast this like shadow image of something, but basically like the way the spell works is like it's a shadow, but you can touch it and like stand on it and whatever, but it only stays there for a certain amount of time. So this one person and this other caster are trying to figure out a way into this castle, and there's no doors, there's no some things, they don't have any spells to like make them fly or anything. So they're essentially trying to like break the kayfabe like geometry of the game by stacking these like horse and buggies on top of each other and like jumping on them before the spell can like break. Like they essentially tried to like break the physics of a game that doesn't exist.
That's fun. I like. See, now we're talking. That's what. Now we're talking.
It's truly the mind's playground.
And I got to tell you, the furthest I've actually been to a D&D game was watching that dude on TikTok roll for sandwich, where he uses his dice his D&D dice, and then when the dice are bad, he feeds it to the mimic that looks like a sandwich on his thing. Yeah,
see the one where like they roll for like the drink and stuff like that too.
Yeah, there's so many
guy
copies.
do that. He said this is the worst drink I've ever made.
Yeah, there's
he rolled it.
Roll for barbecue, roll for drinks, roll for sandwich. The original. Yeah,
if you get into like a person like. If you get with a dungeon master who really takes things like super seriously, you will roll for stuff like that. Like stuff like, like I skip merrily down the walkway. He'll be like, roll for it. If you fail, you trip and fall and you probably break your arm.
Oh, I like that. Oh, one day maybe I'll.
So that'll be starting back up on indiewrestling.us soon.
Very soon. We don't have I don't know if we have a date penciled in or not. But it will be starting up in the next month or so. With this D&D campaign, we're all wrestlers, so it's hard to find like a time where like we're all in the same place, not doing anything.
Right.
And weekdays are just kind of hard. So it just depends on like what all our schedules line up to be to when we can get those episodes out. But they're really fun to participate in.
So yeah, definitely we'll promote those when we start seeing them, and definitely that'll be excellent.
Let's get Mikey to give us his plugs and where you're going to be next. So at least everybody knows now that you're the IW Guide champion, and you have to lug that title everywhere.
Right, yeah. So, as of right now, I will be at Thursday Night Fights next week. So, not this Halloween episode. Okay. So as this drops, I will not be on the episode that is out currently. But the next week, it'll be me and Keith Hott against the winners of the first round of the tag team tournament. So that will be next Thursday. After that, it looks like it'll be Black Friday at AIW. And then after that in December, a yet to be announced Enjoy date. So, keep your, phones out for that when that drops. My socials, if you guys want to pay attention to that, my Twitter is at Montgomery M21, or I'm sorry, at Montgomery _M21, and then my Instagram is at Mikey _ Montgomery_Pro.
You used to be something else, right? It was like
I keep changing it.
Warrior,
yeah, I keep changing it because I don't know what I want to call myself. I've settled on Supersonic for right now.
Supersonic.
Yeah, I like that.
I love the way Pedro announces it too. It's very much the rated R superstar version.
So I've been telling Pedro, Steve Guy, and Sean Collier to go from Tony Chimmel into Vince McMahon. So it's Supersonic. Like you have to get real raspy at the end.
Oh, I like that very much. Yep.
Oh, you can add 11/23 to your booking dates.
Will that be Neo Pro?
That'll be the Neo Pro date.
All right, cool. I'll get my calendar out.
In Canton this time with the much bigger crowd. This crowd wasn't bad, but their Canton crowds are much bigger. So
it's going to be a rough night on an indie wrestling show when they tell you to expect a light house because the local high school homecoming decided to be that weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, no, but here's the thing is they still had a good crowd. So I don't know how many people they were expecting to like not show up for from the homecoming. They must have a bunch of high school students.
The last time I was there, I think they were like 6 rows deep on that one section.
Dang, yeah.
So they were only like 3 or 4 this time. So I mean, there's a little bit more, but
I mean,
it was.
But they were noisy. I mean, it didn't feel like there was nobody in there.
Yeah, they really perked up for you, and like I said, you were the first person like they chanted for. So
Oh, that's cool. Well, I can't wait to be back. I can't wait to show them more of what I got.
Nice. Thank you, Mikey.
Jayhawk,
no
what do you
problem.
You're the
got?
man.
Follow me on Twitch, TikTok, and Twitter at RefJayhawk.
Oh wait, I'm sorry, Jayhawk. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I told myself I was going to do this. I'm promoting my Twitch page.
There you go. Do
Yeah,
it.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
So it's dude, I have to really start remembering my socials.
Yes.
You got to make them super easy, so then they're like super
I know.
easy
I have
for
to.
you.
I have to get them all to be together. It's just at Mikey underscore Montgomery on Twitch.
That's a good segue, JL, because you have a Twitch stream too.
I do. I got to get back on that. Actually, I've been cutting way back on that with some other stuff, but I really got to get back on it. But at RefJayhawk on all the important social, Twitter, Twitch, and TikTok. I got a few weeks before I got anything else going on, really. So that's all I'm going to plug for right now.
Hey, I already follow you on there. How about that? So we joined a wrestling network, a podcast network this week, Main Event _net on Twitter. And I believe that they have that everywhere else. So shout out to them for bringing us on board. I know one of their podcast shows, the Wrestling Junkies, just hit their 250th episode this week. So congrats to them. And yeah, it's been an interesting ride so far. I can't wait to see how far we can go with them.
All right. You can find me on Twitter at jgold12. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to us, and our Twitter handle, IWGuide1, patreon.com/IWGuide. Don't forget about the merch store over at brainbustertees.com. Listen to our podcast friends, the brand new Main Event Wrestling Network, Wrestling Junkies, and On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. Listen to our new pals over at the network. We're trying to build something up here, and Butters has done a great job of networking with these guys, and I think the more we can all get together and talk to these dudes, I think everybody's going to be happy and like what's going on. So have a listen to them, have a listen to us. We'll see how that goes. At Odds with Wrestling, the card is going to change. The Super Fantastic Podcast, Marks with Mikes, and Hayabusa Speed. Check out OKCR Creations, the official graphic designer of the Indie Wrestling Guide. Magnum CK's Now That's What I Call Wrestling. Time Capsule Toys, Toy Ohio, Rubber City Toys, Big Starks brand, Women's Wrestling Watch of Northeast Ohio. Gorilla Press Apparel. Use code IWGP24 at checkout when you buy 2 or more items for $20 off your entire order. And check out Smokin' Jay's Barbecue, the best barbecue in Ohio. That's what I got. Happy Halloween, knuckleheads.
Yes, go do some tricks and some treats out on the
Check
streets.
your candy. Make sure there's nobody in there.
Nobody in there.
Right. Can't have you opening it up.
How big are these candy bars you're hanging out?
Remember, nobody is giving drugs out to kids. They're keeping them for themselves.
Exactly. Except in the suburbs where they give out gummies to all the parents and whatnot. So don't give those to your kids.
Or, see, give them half one, see what happens.
Yeah.
It could be a fun
good
time.
night's rest. Yes. Watch independent wrestling.
Later, everybody.
Later, everyone.
Don't forget to review and subscribe wherever you listen to us. Find us online at Facebook and Instagram at the Indie Wrestling Guide. And on X or Twitter at IWGuide1.